We are doing this video in reaction to what has been happening in the recent past in the country, especially what happened in Kilifi County about the controversial Pastor Mackenzie, how he has been, encouraging his followers, or rather his believers, to fast to death so that they can die and go meet their Creator. In this video, we will be talking about fasting. Generally, and trying to make you understand what are the safe types of fasting, what actually happens when you are fasting, and what are the benefits. You will also be able to understand who should fast and who should not fast.
So please subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit that notification bell. Also make sure to like and comment on our video. So before we continue, it is so sad what has been happening.
Really
right?
sad.
Like even
Terrific
kids and children fasting. We've heard of 2 kids who have died because of fasting. And that is actually not right. So it is important that we know what are the limits to fasting. And so before we continue, let's just very briefly describe what is fasting. So fasting is denying oneself calories for a specific duration of time. And so calories, if you may not understand what it is the energy that is produced when the body digests food. And so denying yourself calories for a specific amount of time is what you're terming it as fasting.
Starvation actually refers to when you have deprived the body enough calories to perform its vital functions. That's what starvation means.
Depriving your own body of calories to the point that your body cannot actually maintain the vital functions that it needs to perform.
And of course, you can be sure when the body is unable to perform its vital function, which actually support life, then you definitely lose the life.
Yes, because energy, food, calories, they're all important for sustaining life. And so another definition that we might actually need to talk about is dieting. So dieting is restricting yourself. You restrict the amount of food that you have, or restricting yourself to eat a specific kind of food. We've heard about keto diet. So that is like a special kind of food that someone eats when they're dieting. And it is normally because they want to lose weight. That is the most common reason why people diet.
That is to mean both fasting and dieting are purposeful. They are goal oriented, in that fasting can be done due to religious, cultural, or even health wise related issues, whereas dieting more often than not is done to lose weight, or even modify your diet to a specific or rather to a specific direction that ensures that you can achieve a particular goal.
So what happens, if you can just briefly tell us what happens to your body when you go into fasting?
Now, to understand what happens when you fasting, you actually need to understand the basic of what your body does to the food you take in. So when you take food in, the body will metabolize that food, break it down, and some of it is used to generate energy, and another portion is stored. Storage of the food you take can be in the liver in form of glycogen, or in fat, or even in the muscles. So that is how that is what the body does to the food. When you are fasting, you realize that during fasting you are not actively taking food, and so the body will not get direct food to break to energy, and so it turns into the storage or its reserves. The immediate resource reserve for energy is actually the liver, whereby the body will break down the stored glycogen into energy. Now, if there's further, deprivation of food during fasting, the body will further look for alternative method, or rather an alternative reserve, because they actually, after a few days, 1 or 2 days, the stores in the liver are depleted. Now the body turns into the fats for breakdown into energy, and consequently the muscles. Now after this, you realize that after the body has utilized all its stores, there's nothing to be broken down to energy, and so the body cannot support its vital functions, and therefore someone goes into starvation and eventually death. So that is what happens if you fast for too long, you exhaust what the body had stored. Yeah.
So we are saying that fasting is actually good, right? But fasting for too long can actually be fatal, right? Yeah. So there are some kinds of groups of people that cannot fast.
Yeah.
We are saying that anyone can fast, but these specific people cannot actually fast. So, for example, children and teenagers, because their metabolic demands is very high, we actually discourage children and teenagers from fasting. And also sick people for the same reason as children. So another group of individuals who cannot fast are those people with type 1 diabetes. So this because they cannot produce their own insulin. So these people can actually go into what we call hypoglycemia, meaning that very low levels of blood sugar.
Yeah, and you and I understand that hypoglycemia is more dangerous than hyperglycemia.
Yeah.
When your glucose, or rather your blood sugars are high, I'm not saying that people should have high sugar levels, but it's way better than when your sugars are low. Because definitely if the sugars are low, you can easily succumb.
Yes. Yeah. There are so many benefits to fasting. For example, when you fast in order to lose weight, that's a benefit.
Yeah. So the second benefit of fasting is fasting ensures that your blood sugars are well controlled, especially those people with diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are saying that it's diabetes type 2, or those people who have very good control of their blood sugars, right? Not just any diabetic person.
Yes.
Right? And also studies have shown that fasting can actually help to promote brain function. By decreasing the chances of developing neurodegenerative disorders, right? Like dementia.
So other disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinsonism.
Yes.
Studies have shown that fasting alone promotes, or rather increases, the lifespan of an individual. Although these studies have not been done on humans, because obviously it's not ethical for you to starve people to death so that you can see whether it increases their chances of lifespan. But these studies have been done on animals, and a study that was done on rats showed that the lifespan was increased by 28%.
So another benefit of fasting would be that your immunity resets whenever you fast because of production of new cells.
Yeah. Benefit number 7 of fasting is dopamine resetting. In that, dopamine is the hormone responsible for joy. If you have oftenly heard people say that life does not give joy, things that used to excite them no longer excites them. This usually means that they have reached what we call dopamine saturation. And if you feel this and fast, it ensures that there is generation of new dopamine receptors, and this enhances your levels of joy. And thus, of course, joy is what we need, is what every other person needs or rather wants to achieve in this life.
Very true. Therefore, how long can a person survive without food?
Okay, so a person can survive without food for a period between 8 to 21 days from studies.
Yes.
this is, however, dependent on some individual factors such as the amount of reserves of energy, their nutritional needs or metabolic needs, and the type of fasting.
So a person with, a person who doesn't have a lot of energy reserves should not actually fast for a long time, because they end up depleting their energy stores fast, and then they go into starvation, right? And we say that starvation is not good, because as we had seen earlier on, these people have been without food for a really long time, and actually some of them have actually lost their lives. So it is not actually good to starve yourself. It is not actually good to stay for long without food. Because in as much as it is for religious reasons, but your body needs food so that it can function. Without
energy, then you definitely lose the life.
Yes. And so that was it about fasting. We hope that you have gained something out of this video, and we hope to see you in our next video. Bye.